Hello, welcome back to Deep Well Bible Studies. Again, this is an audio format of the written Bible studies you can find at www.deepwellbiblestudies.com. Today we're beginning another study, and this study is on the hidden dynasty of politics. And this study is called 233. So with the word of wisdom from our Heavenly Father in the name of Jesus Christ, let us begin. 233, the hidden dynasty of politics. Mark chapter 13, verse 7, and it says, "And when ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, be ye not troubled, for such things must needs be. But the end shall not be yet." It was the result of the two world wars that brought upon the United Nations in 1945, which took the place of the failed League of Nations. In 1945, the third trumpet began to sound, and it is my belief that the third trumpet lines up with the hidden dynasty of politics. What signified the sounding of the third trumpet was the creation of the United Nations. Mark chapter 13, verse 8, "And Jesus said, For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be earthquakes in divers places, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginning of sorrows." We are in the nation shall rise against nation stage, in which the Go Fig nation of Kenites are involved in an inter-Hegelian war between themselves. At this time, there are multipolar globalists rising up against unipolar globalists within the shadow government of this foolish nation as we speak. I believe this inner war between these two global factions of Kenites has caused many commotions and geopolitical disturbances throughout the world at this time. These two warring factions of Kenites are the robbers of thy people, exalting themselves to establish the vision that is written about in Daniel chapter 11, verse 14. Daniel chapter 11, verse 14. And it says, "In those times there shall many stand up against the king of the south. Also the robbers of thy people shall exalt themselves to establish the vision, but they shall fall." At this time, the Kenites on each side of the globalist spectrum are trying to establish this vision. However, it says, "they shall fall," which means fail, because the vision they are trying to establish is the vision of a one-world order. But as we know, the so-called New World Order will not come into existence until the great horn of the he-goat gets broken, and the political beast rises from the sea of people at the woe of the fifth trumpet. Looking ahead, it will be the result of kingdom against kingdom, that the political beast, which is the one-world political order, will receive a deadly head wound, thus causing it to shift into a one-world religious order. The deadly head wound will cause a major geopolitical shift in the middle of the 5-month-long hour of temptation. This major geopolitical shift, or you could say earthquake, will cause the one-world political system to move to a one-world theocracy under the deception of Satan as the Antichrist. The second seal lines up with the third trumpet and third vial. The second seal, Revelation chapter 6, verses 3 through 4. And it says, "And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, Come and see. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword." I believe the rider on the red horse is Satan, and power was given unto him to take peace from the earth. Satan takes peace from the earth throughout this final generation by using his children, who are the Kenites, through the hidden dynasty of politics. The Kenites, who are Satan's children through the 4 hidden dynasties, especially the hidden dynasty of politics, has been taking peace out of this world through the wars and commotions, or the troubles they cause. Problem, reaction, and solution, you might say. At this time, the Kenites on the unipolar side of the globalist spectrum are very much in control of the left and right paradigm of politics in our country today, which are symbolized by Ammon and Moab in the Bible, which is really Stalinism and Trotskyism. Meanwhile, the Kenites on the other side of the globalist spectrum, who represent multipolarity and who control Edom, which means red, are working through the Russian Federation. Again, as we speak, we are seeing this Go Fig nation, which are made up of Kenites, through their shadow government, rising up against itself on a global scale in an inner war against themselves, until the great horn of the he-goat breaks. Problem, reaction, solution. Looking back prior to the beginning of this final generation that started in 1948, the Kenites provoked the 2 world wars. The reaction was worldwide instability and conflict, and their solution they created was the United Nations, which is the great horn of the he-goat spoken about in Daniel chapter 8. Let's look. Daniel chapter 8, verses 5 through 6. And it says, "And I was considering, behold, an he-goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth, and touched not the ground. And the goat had a notable horn between his eyes. And he came to the ram that had 2 horns, which I had seen standing before the river, and ran unto him in the fury of his power. The he-goat is the goat fig nation of Kenites, and their shadow government worldwide. And it is my belief that they used the notable horn, which is Germany in World War II, to absorb the ram with the 2 horns, which is the United States and Great Britain, into the great horn of the he-goat, the United Nations. Daniel chapter 8, verses 7. And it says, And I saw him come close unto the ram, and he was moved with choler against him, and smote the ram, and brake his 2 horns. And there was no power in the ram to stand before him. But he cast him down to the ground, and stamped upon him. And there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand. No one could deliver the United States and Great Britain from being part of the great horn that is under the he-goat's control. Neither would they stand against this corrupt world peace in front of a global stage. They became stamped under the hoof of Kenite control that year on a global scale. Daniel chapter 8, verse 8. And it says, Therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken. And for it came up 4 notable ones towards the 4 winds of heaven. That great horn will break, and I believe that breaking will be the result of this goat fig nation rising against itself. When the great horn, which is a united nation, breaks, 4 notable ones will stand up in its place. The rise of the political beast. Daniel chapter 7, verses 2 through 7. And it says, Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the 4 winds of heaven strove upon the great sea. And 4 great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. And behold another beast, a second, like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. After this I beheld, and lo, another, like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly. And it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. The lion within this beast will consist of the 3 Christian nations, which are the 3 horns, and they are as follows. The United States, which represents Manasseh, Great Britain, which represents Ephraim along with its commonwealth, and Germany, which represents Judah, with most likely the EU. This political beast will also consist of the bear, which is Russia, and all non-Christian nations. And the Kenites will go from being the he-goat to the leopard at the time of this political beast's rising. Last but not least, Daniel's 4th beast, which is diverse from the others because it has 10 horns. This diverse beast consists of Satan and his fallen angels, which includes 10 supernatural fallen angel kings that are given power as kings to reign 1 hour with the beast, who is Satan. The 3rd trumpet, Revelation chapter 8, verse 10. And it says, And the 3rd angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp. And it fell upon the 3rd part of the rivers, and upon the fountains of waters. When the 3rd trumpet began to sound in the year 1945, the United Nations was created. And from the skeletal structure of the United Nations, when broken, this one world political beast will rise in its place in the beginning of the 5-month-long hour of temptation. That is when the 4 winds are released. The great star that falls onto the earth is Satan, and along with his fallen angels that will come with him. They will take their place within the political beast at its rising at the woe of the 5th trumpet. And the dragon, who is Satan, will give it its power. Continuing with the 3rd trumpet, Revelation chapter 8, verse 11. And it says, And the name of the star is called Wormwood, and the 3rd part of the waters became wormwood. And many men died of the waters because they were made bitter. Satan, that great star that will fall from heaven at the woe of the 5th trumpet, is also called Wormwood. And he will cause most of the waters, which are people, to become wormwood at the 2nd woe, which is the woe of the 6th trumpet. Satan will make his appearance as the Antichrist in the middle of the 5-month-long hour of temptation at the woe of the 6th trumpet, after healing the deadly head wound to the political beast. Satan, as the false living water, which is wormwood, will fully pollute the third who are Christians, and will also fully rule over the peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues, which are the waters described in Revelation chapter 17, verse 15. Again, this will take place in the middle of the 5-month-long hour of temptation after the first woe, which is the woe of the fifth trumpet, passes. Satan will cause ultimate bitterness in the third of the world who are Christians, in which he will fall upon, thus causing their spiritual death. And as far as the rest of the world, they will already be spiritually dead because of not having any spiritual life to begin with. The third vial, Revelation chapter 16, verses 4 through 7. And it says, "And the third angel poured out his vial upon the rivers and fountains of waters, and they became blood. And I heard the angel of the waters say, Thou art righteous, O Lord, which art and wast and shalt be, because thou hast judged thus. For they have shed the blood of saints and prophets, and thou hast given them blood to drink, for they are worthy. And I heard another out of the altar say, Even so, Lord God Almighty, true and righteous are thy judgments." The third vial was poured out upon the earth the same year the third trumpet began to sound. And the ultimate buildup of this plague in Christians' minds will lead them to become one in bitterness with those who had the blood guilt of killing prophets and saints throughout this second world age. Those that carry that blood guilt are the Kenites. God's truth has been carried by many prophets and saints to pass along to those who will keep the living water within them during the 5-month-long hour of temptation, especially throughout the second woe that will be upon all but them in the middle of that hour of temptation. Yes, the third who are Christians who will become Satan's whore at the woe of the sixth trumpet will join with the Kenites in worshiping him and will become partakers in their evil deeds by delivering up their brothers and sisters to death, that is to say, Satan. Second Epistle of John, chapter 1, verses 9 through 11, and it says, "Whosoever transgresseth, and abideth not in the doctrine of Christ, hath not God. He that abideth in the doctrine of Christ, he hath both the Father and the Son. If there come any unto you, and bring not this doctrine, receive him not into your house, neither bid him Godspeed. For he that biddeth him Godspeed is a partaker of his evil deeds." There is a lot to cover in the second seal, third trumpet, and the third vial, but it is essential to understand how Satan uses his children, who are the Kenites, to creep in and cause bitterness using this hidden dynasty of politics. It also helps us to see the condition of the waters, which are the peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues, especially the third who are Christians, during the ultimate fruition of the third trumpet, when all 6 trumpets are sounding at once, and all 6 plagues of deception are upon the earth. In conclusion, as we've seen in the second seal, power has been given to Satan to take peace from the earth, using his children who are the Kenites, and who are in control of the hidden dynasty of politics during this final generation. It is at this time we see Edom, which represents the Kenites on the multipolarist end of the globalist spectrum, working through Russia, planting the seeds which will influence the future revolt of the Christian nations from the one world political beast, which will transpire towards the middle of the 5-month-long hour of temptation, which kingdom against kingdom represents in Mark chapter 13, verse 8. It will be by a sword to the political beast that will cause many to be killed spiritually, by the sword of Satan's deception when he appears as the false Christ in the middle of the 5-month-long hour of temptation, to heal the deadly wound in which the sword of their revolt caused. Revelation chapter 13, verse 10, and it says, "He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with a sword must be killed with a sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints." This is 233, the hidden dynasty of politics as I understand it. Therefore, study to show thyself approved. The end.